Hi, I am Stephanie Turco. In this presentation, I am going to familiarize you to David Merrill and inform you about his instructional design method. First, principles of instruction. M. David Merrill is a professor emeritus at Utah State University. He received his PhD from the University of Illinois in 1964. Since then, he has researched and studied engaging, effective, and efficient learning for 50 years. In 2002, Merrill published his first Principles of Instruction. This instructional design model is to be used by instructors for learners to be motivated and engaged when learning a new skill or gaining new knowledge. Merrill's first principles are as follows. Problem. Learning is promoted when learners are engaged in solving real-world problems and are shown the task they will be able to do or the problem they will solve. For instruction to be effective, it must be problem-based. Problems should be genuine, real-world, and if possible, personal. Showing the learners the task or problem they will be able to solve is more effective than stating intangible learning objectives. Activation. Learning is promoted when existing knowledge and skill is activated as a foundation for new knowledge and skill. Instruction must activate relevant prior knowledge. Learners are directed to recall, relate, describe, or apply knowledge from relevant past experiences that can be used as a foundation for the new knowledge. Learners are also given the opportunity to demonstrate their previously acquired knowledge or skill. Demonstration. Learning is promoted when new knowledge is demonstrated to the learner rather than merely telling information about what is to be learned. Learning is best when students are shown rather than told. Application. Learning is promoted when the new knowledge is applied by the learner. The learner must be allowed to apply the skill and knowledge. Learning is promoted when learners are given many opportunities to use their knowledge or skill for a variety of problems. Integration. Learning is promoted when new knowledge is integrated into the learner's world. Learners need to be given an opportunity to publicly demonstrate their new knowledge or skill. It is important for learners to be able to create, invent, and explore new and personal ways to use their new knowledge or skills. When learners can demonstrate improvement in skill, they are motivated to perform even better. It is also important for learners to have the opportunity to reflect on, defend, and share what they have learned so they can retain the new knowledge or skill and be able to use it again. Now that you have a general understanding of Merrill's first principles of instruction, let's look at a couple of examples. Example 1. This first article, Developing Conceptual Understanding and Statistics in a Statistics Course, Merrill's First Principles, and Real Data at Work, was published in 2016. This study was done because of the difficulties students were having in learning statistics at the college level. The purpose was to design a college-level blended introductory course using Merrill's first principles of instruction. The case study consisted of a class of 8 students who participated in a 16-week blended college-level class. The real task was to analyze a collection of iTunes lectures and conduct a hypothesis test to see if the mean lecture length of the entire collection was longer than 60 minutes. For activation, students had to read related chapters and sections from the textbook. A detailed explanation of each hypothesis test was discussed during the demonstration step. Using the same collection, students had to apply their knowledge to test a different hypothesis. In the integration step, learning was promoted through a comprehensive topical project that required students to apply the knowledge and skills they learned. In conclusion, the effectiveness of the implementation of the first principles was found when examining the association between the assignment type and the level of understanding. The second example I found is a case study about a flipped classroom. This article is an investigation into effective pedagogies in a flipped classroom, a case study published in 2016. The article begins discussing how little is known to facilitate a flipped classroom. The purpose is to explore what types of learning activities in a flipped classroom are perceived to be the most effective in the achievement of desired course proficiencies. This particular study dealt with a flipped lab classroom. Both the students and teachers were asked how effective the class was. The areas lacking in Merrill's first principles were application and integration. Students were not getting enough time to explore and do on their own. The instructor also noticed that the students were not doing the required work before class. This made the experience ineffective for them because they could not apply previous knowledge. Because so much time was spent on activation and demonstration, there was little time for students to engage in activities. The students also felt that the lab was not problem-centered, which is the core of Merrill's first principles. Practical development. Now I will walk you through a lesson that uses Merrill's first principles of instruction. In this lesson, students begin with a problem. They own a pizza shop. The problem they are given is how much money will you make in a month selling pizzas? Remember, you also have to buy supplies. To activate the students' learning, they will recall going to eat at a pizza restaurant and listing all of the things they remember seeing. They will also recall a time they went shopping and had to get change back for what they purchased. The teacher will demonstrate how to add and subtract decimals to the students so they can determine the final cost. The teacher will also demonstrate how to play the Osmo pizza game. This gives a digital example to students on how to own a pizza company. Students must make the pizzas and give the correct change to make the customers happy. At the end of each day, it also shows how much money the students made and their profit. After the demonstration, students will be able to apply their learning. Students will now be given the opportunity to play the Osmo game. They will also research different pizza restaurants near them to determine the types and costs of their pizzas. It would also be good for students to go to those stores to interview the owners. To integrate this knowledge, students will use their research information to create their pizza shop. They will set up the types and prices of pizza they will sell. Once they have this information, they will determine how much money they will make in a month. Thank you so much for taking the time to review Merrill's first principles of instruction.